If you are in excavating in any way, shape, or form, chances are you've probably heard of a one call. If not, you better stop and figure out what a one call is. A one call, simply put, is a call or a notification made to get utilities marked out underground. Any time that you are going to dig, this needs to take place. Doesn't matter how deep, it's the law. You can get in big trouble, you can get fined lots of money, and more importantly, you could potentially die if you don't make a one call or if you hit an underground utility that is not marked. Hey, I'm Chad. This is Excavation Revelation, the place where we talk excavation and we provide efficient excavating strategies to help you be smooth, be efficient, and make good progress. A one call. It's a simple thing, but it's also very important. It needs to be done every single time. First of all, you need to know what a one call is, what the different markings mean. There are different cards out there that you can get different places. Most states, they just hand these out for free, different places. Just simply put, white, anytime you see a white marking, it means a proposed excavation like we're going to talk about today. I'm going to show you how to mark them out using white paint. If you see pink, it means that there is a temporary survey markings, that these usually aren't there very long, but just something temporary that is being marked out. Things marked in red signify power. They symbolize conduit, lighting wires, anything along those lines. A yellow mark usually means gas, oil, steam, petroleum, anything along those lines. Orange, communication, alarm signals, systems, cables, and conduit. Blue is potable water, which means drinking water. Purple is irrigation water, reclaimed water, or slurry lines. And green is used to mark sewers and also storm drains. These cards are very handy if you ever forget. I mean, eventually, the longer you get doing this, you'll come to know what these terms mean off like nothing. Most of them are pretty straightforward. For example, yellow, most gas pipe is yellow, so that makes sense. It's yellow. Red, you think of power, electricity. Blue, water. So they're pretty simple how they create this. But if not, I recommend getting these cards. Find one. They go over on the back, different details, things you're supposed to know. They talk about some tolerance zones, which is basically it's a cover for them. When they come out to mark your utilities, they're going to do the best they can, whether they're the gas company, the sewer company, the water, but it might not be 100% perfect. So keep that in mind. They're going to give you a ballpark of where these utilities are marked. So basically what the card says is anytime you're within 18 inches or you think you're within 18 inches of their markings, their pipe, you need to dig by hand. Usually done with a shovel or sometimes with a potholing machine, which is like a big tube that sucks up dirt and gravel, and there's usually water involved to loosen it up. It's a very easy way to find utilities, a very safe way to find utilities without running the risk of digging them. Each state has a website you can get on. Call 811 is the general one that goes across nationwide. But each state, for example, I'm in Pennsylvania, so it's just PA one call. The number one is spelled out, .org. Texas, they're all different, but they're very easy to search and find out what they are. Basically, there's a whole brochure too that you can get as well. And there are different rules and regulations, questions that come about. It's all online. But the Common Ground Alliance is the one that came up with all these. It's for safety is what it boils down to. They don't want people digging and getting hurt or potentially dying by hitting an unmarked utility. It's for safety. They also don't want to cause interruptions with people's power or communications when you hit a line. This all can be avoided by doing a one call. So that's what it was. The next step to basically talk about it is to know how to go about doing it. This is something that you can do physically, and I'm going to take a break here and go out and show you how to do it. You just the center of where your project is, like this is going to be the heart and center. You just get on the road. You spray paint. One call. Like spray paint one call. Then you do arrows. Do arrows to let them know the direction. If you wanted to get specific, you can mark, say, 300 feet. Mark 300 feet up toward the end of the property where you'll be not necessarily digging, but just in case you have to go up that far. You just go up to the edge of the property and do a bend so they know that that's the corner of the property where the digging is going to be going on. Then do the same thing down this way. It's only going to be 100 feet this direction. So once you're at your boundary again, you just do an arrow. That way they know that's the edge, and they know which direction to go. You can even mark in this way 500 feet. You can mark if you want how far you'll be going in 500 feet, and they'll know where to mark it once they get inside the property, if there was anything in that far. This can also be done online on the website. You can get online, as long as you know the address, or if it's a site that just starting doesn't have an address, you just need coordinates. It walks you through online how to go through about setting this up. Now they say that a one call is free, and it essentially is one time, or if you're a homeowner. If you're a contractor, it is not free. You need to register. I forget the exact dollar amount. It's basically 100 and some bucks a year, but it's unlimited calls, unlimited markings. So when you look at it in the big scheme of things, 100 bucks might sound like a lot, but at the end, after a year, if you use it dozens of times, it's really not much at all. And it's a business expense that you can write off. So it's just essential to your business. But if you are a homeowner, you can use this for free. That's why they advertise it, one free call. Another reason for using the one call, why it's so important, is essentially, I talked about this already, but it's the law. You don't want to get in trouble. It takes 5-10 minutes to do. You want to do it 3 days before you're digging. That gives all utility companies a chance to come out and mark the lines. It lets them know in advance that you're going to be digging, and it provides ample opportunity. Now, say you're on a site, you're digging for a while, then you have to pull out for a couple weeks. Technically, you're supposed to renew your one call, and simply put, you just call the same number you called before, just explain what's going on, and they'll let utility companies know, and if anything changed, they'll definitely come out and mark them, and they'll notify you. So years ago, I was probably, I'd say 12 years ago, I was probably at the company I worked for at the time for maybe a year. I actually hit an unmarked gas line, and it was very scary. It's something I think about pretty often, and it could have gone very, very bad. Obviously, I'm still alive. Nobody got hurt. Nobody got killed. But it was just definitely an eye-opening experience of how simple something can happen. In a nutshell, we were working for another contractor. They were an environmental contractor at a local college. They were cleaning up, or in charge of cleaning up, old fuel tanks that were being removed. We were digging holes to sample all the soil to make sure that there was no contaminated soil anywhere. So we were digging up by where the fuel tanks were, and we were digging a couple spots down below. And I really didn't think anything of it. I was just going, doing what they told me to do. I just had a mini excavator. I think it was a little John Deere 50. Just digging wherever they said to. And things were going smooth. It was getting later in the day. This was in the summer, so there wasn't any college or anything in session, but it was later in the day, and we were getting ready to wrap up for the day, then come back in the morning, button things up, make everything nice and neat, and move on. So they just wanted me to move down the hill a little bit and dig in an area. And I got down a couple feet, and I was just kind of digging kind of fast. Like I said, it was getting near the end of the day. We're getting ready to wrap up. And I took a big scoop the one time, and all of a sudden, shoots gas, and it's loud, it is hissing, and I really didn't know what was going on at first. There was dirt flying in the air. The guys I was working with, they immediately dove and ran out of the way. I jumped out of the machine and got up to safety to see what was going on, and I just let the machine run. Fortunately, I didn't hit a rock or make a spark or anything, and the guys that I worked with weren't smoking, or we could have definitely had an explosion. So I'm not sure if it was smart enough. I hurried up and ran over and shut off the machine then, less than any chance of a fire or explosion. And I got back with them, and instantly people were calling 911. The fire companies were coming. They're going around talking to neighbors and getting them to evacuate their houses and close doors and windows, keep any gas out. I mean, we're out in the middle of the field. This is actually the area here. I don't know if you can kind of see behind me. But right down here is where I was digging, and I never would have thought there would be a gas line there. I'll show you here the markers in a minute, and something I should have looked at, but it was very scary. All of a sudden, fire trucks started coming, police started coming, and the right people eventually came and got the thing shut off. Fortunately, though, our company had some certified gas workers that we could come back the next day once it was all shut off and make the necessary repairs to it. But I'm sure we got fined. I never heard the exact numbers, but I'm sure we got fined. And I fortunately didn't get in too much trouble, but just an eye-opener. And the people I was working for, I don't think they got in a whole lot of trouble. Besides, it was definitely an eye-opening experience for them as well. So over there you can kind of see across the road is the one marker where the line runs. And I'm essentially standing on the right-of-way right now. It's not marked out very well, but it comes up through this area, through these trees, and it goes out between those buildings. Very fortunate how things turned out. So always make sure utilities are marked. Always take your time to look around. Even if you think you know where they are, just take your time. Make sure that it's all marked out and you have a clear understanding of what's what and where things are. So in a nutshell, that's what a one call is. I talked about the different colors and different markings. I talked about how you go about marking it, whether you're doing it physically and calling in, or whether you're doing it online, which works just the same. And I talked about why it's important, it being the law, it being a safety issue, my story. It also makes it easier on you. Like if you know where things are marked out, obviously if you're working in a residential area, they're only going to mark it to a certain extent. If you're way out in the country, they're not going to go in somebody's backyard and mark out their little water service or anything. Most of the time the people have a well anyway, so keep that in mind. If you're out in the middle of nowhere, they're going to have a well, they're going to have a septic tank, leach field, none of that's going to be marked. So you have to kind of figure that out. But anytime you're in a residential community especially, they're going to mark a bit more for you. Or if you're along a bigger road, they're going to mark it out to the road, at least to your property, give you an idea of where the laterals are running and where any pipeline might be coming through. Let me know if you've had any experiences or any scary stories like me of hitting a utility that wasn't marked. If it was communications, it could be very expensive. It could cost you a lot. Or in my case, gas line, very scary. Water line, it can create a big mess very quickly. So leave a comment if you ever hit anything, or if there's something that you would like discussed more in the future or response. I'll try to get back to you. Thanks for watching. See you next time.